Good evening, dear listener. It is now time for the newscast here on Radio Anafe, debating love in our society. This evening, you are with me, Lester Mhone, but first, let us look at our top stories. A consortium of civil society organizations, National Advocacy Platform, has called on the Tonse-led government to institute constitutional reforms and review all corruption cases to the general public. The chairperson for Parliamentary Committee on Budget and Finance, Gladys Ganda, has called on members of parliament to leave politics aside for the country to make a good progress in development. And yesterday, the High Court in Longwe overturned a decision by government to remove Chogani Muhango as a board member of ESCOM. Those were the headlines, and now I'll give you the news in detail. The Programs Manager for Augusta Schools project in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, Chris Mabwera, has urged parents, learners and teachers in all schools where the project is being championed to keep on caring for micro-projects. After monitoring how the project is faring in different schools in Lilongwe on Wednesday, Mabwera commended the schools for their commitment on the project. He emphasized the need for their continued participation in the project, adding that this is also one way of conserving the environment. Mabwera explains to our reporter, Nenani Malamba Standi.
We came here to encourage the staff, to encourage the learners to keep on with what they are doing, especially taking care of micro projects. And as you know, the schools will be closing on 9th September, and it means they will be off, they will be out of school for about a month. So 1 month is quite a long time. So we said maybe during the holiday, we need to agree how they are going to continue taking care of the micro project at the school. You know, they have a very good micro project, very vibrant. We visited the vegetable garden, so beautiful. We visited the piggery project, and they are doing very well. And they have planted the trees, they are taking care of them quite okay. And then we are saying, no, I think in their absence, when they are away for holidays, I think these things need to be taken care of. So they were coming up with a plan of how they will actually make sure that the micro projects they have, they continue to be vibrant.
The voice of Chris Mabwera, Programs Manager for Augusta Schools project in the Archdiocese of Lilongwe. On her part, head teacher at Gama's Primary School in Lilongwe, Diana Muntali, commended the Augusta School project, saying it is fruitful.
Augusta has assisted us most because we have got different types of things that we are doing here at our school. These people, they have encouraged us that we are doing fine. So if somebody told you that you are doing fine, it means we need to give more fire. The things that we are having, we need to extend it. So I think we will do it.
The voice of Diana Muntali, head teacher at Gama's Primary School in Lilongwe. A consortium of civil society organizations, National Advocacy Platform, has called on the Tonse-led government to institute constitutional reforms and review all corruption cases to the general public. Speaking at a press briefing in Lilongwe, chairperson for the consortium, Benedicto Kondowe, emphasized on the need to resolve differences between the Anticorruption Bureau, ACB, and the Office of Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, so as to give room in fighting corruption in the country. Kondowe requested that all corruption cases should be made public for the sake of transparency and accountability. Kondowe explains to our reporter, Eric Norman Nkwaira.
The Office of Anticorruption Bureau has been investigating on different corruption matters involving different stakeholders, members of parliament, those in the judiciary, the business captains, members in the NGOs, and so forth. So the point that we're making is that we are at a juncture where the ACB needs to make a public notice on the status of matters they have investigated or they have taken to court so that Malawians are informed. This would not undermine the judiciary, so to speak. What I'm simply saying, the ACB is making an account of cases that they are pursuing, full stop. And this information cannot be said to be an undermine of the court. unless they venture into other issues. We are simply saying, can Malawians have an account of matters that have been taken to court, matters that have been investigated?
The voice of Benedicto Kondowe, chairperson of a consortium of civil society organizations, National Advocacy Platform on Constitutional Reforms, a member of the consortium, Barbara Banda, called on President Chakwera to address the nation on the demand for the Republican Constitutional Review and that the amendment must be completed before October 20 this year. Banda explains.
We see a lot of gaps, particularly in our constitution, because when it was done in the 90s, it was a very quick process as we were moving from a one-party state into multi-party democracy. And we are saying if we look back since the 20s, since the 1993s, there has been a passage of time of over 20 years. And it's high time that this constitution, we sat down and reviewed it. But this process was already started in 2006 and 2007. But up to today, those reforms have not been established into policy. So the constitution remains the way it was. And the implication is that now when you see our justice system, they are busy looking at a constitution that is no longer relevant to the needs of the Malawian society today.
The voice of Barbara Banda, a member of a consortium of civil society organizations, National Advocacy Platform. The High Court in Lilongwe yesterday overturned a decision by government to remove Chokani Mhone as a body member of ESCOM. Mhone was appointed as body chairperson for ESCOM on 6 September for a period of 2 years, which was expected to run from 23 September 2020 to 22 September this year. However, it is said that on 2nd June 2021, Mhone received a letter from a comptroller of statutory corporations informing him of his termination as chairperson and body member of ESCOM and appointing him as chairperson and body member of National Economic Empowerment Fund, NEF. We have more in this report.
The decision by government prompted Mhone to challenge the legality of the decision by, among others, arguing that his termination was unfair, that he was removed because he refused to take instructions to employ a candidate who had not emerged number one to the position of ESCOM's CEO. He claimed that he was removed a day after refusing to take instructions from the Comptroller of Statutory Corporations to appoint a CEO of ESCOM. In response, government defended its decision, saying the terms of appointment gave the appointing authority the power to terminate the appointment at any time before the expiry of 2 years without giving reasons. In his judgment, Judge Dinksaw Madise observed that the claim by Mhone that he had received instructions to appoint someone who had not done well in interviews, hence his termination, is not supported by evidence in form of a collogue. But Madise found the government acted outside the law, saying Section 43, subsection 2 of the Constitution states that every person shall be furnished with reasons in writing for administrative action where his or her rights, freedoms, legitimate expectations, or interests are affected. With this, Madise has invalidated the termination letter, saying it has no effect. For Reader Linafe, this is Monica Shinyamalipia reporting.
The chairperson for Parliamentary Committee on Budget and Finance, Gladys Ganda, has called on members of Parliament to leave politics aside for the country to make a good progress in development. Ganda was speaking in Lilongwe during the official opening of Second Africa Conference on Debt and Development, AFCOD. Ganda said members of Parliament need to be serious when deliberating debt discussions, saying they are crucial in development of the country. She said the political party systems in the country have muzzled the members of Parliament as they don't hold the executive arm of government accountable. Ganda explains.
As members, you are supposed to scrutinize the bills that they are borrowing and make sure that they are also, they are intended to meet the issues or the challenges or gaps, or they are intended to address the gaps that are there. But we have challenges in the sense that for my Parliament, whenever a bill is presented in Parliament, you have just a few, probably hours, if days at all, to scrutinize the bill. Because, as you might have heard, it's clear that borrowing is inevitable. But to borrowing for consumption is a big challenge. Because the moment you continue borrowing just to consume, that it means you are creating loans that will not be in a position to invest in sectors that are good for investment, in sectors that will generate resources for this country. But as honourable members of parliament, sometimes you face challenges in the sense that you have limited time to scrutinize the bills, and you end up passing bills that you're not supposed to pass or to approve in the first place. But my plea, and I continue to say that, is probably to give more time to the honourable members to review, to be able to review those bills, and also make sure that we are really borrowing for development and not just consumption. There is also more to do with politics when it comes to parliament, because that's a political house, and sometimes we make political decisions that are not good for the nation. It's my prayer that one day all members of parliament, wherever they are, whether it's in Malawi or wherever in the world, sometimes you leave politics aside and also just focus on the issues that are supposed to be handled in parliament for the betterment of the people that we serve, as opposed to politics.
The voice of Gladys Ganda, chairperson for Parliamentary Committee on Budget and Finance. And finally, the Northern Department of Immigration has deported 9 Pakistan nationals and 2 Bangladesh nationals for illegal entry in the country. Public Relations Officer for Northern Region Department of Immigration, Sergeant Francis Chitambuli, says the illegal immigrants have been deported using Kamuzu International Airport on 23rd August following completion of their 6 months jail term at Karonga prison. Chitambuli said they were arrested in April of this year after entering the country using uncharted routes. Chitambuli said they were then convicted and sentenced to 6 years imprisonment with hard labor, adding that after completion of their custodial sentence, the convicts should be sent to their home countries.
It was unveiled that the illegal immigrants got into the country using uncharted routes as well as without obtaining a visa, which is a requirement for Pakistan as well as Bangladesh nationals to obtain to legalize their entry into the country. And the group of the 11 decided not to follow that procedure. Hence, the court in Karonga ordered that these ones have to be deported soon after their custodial sentence at Karonga prison, which was given to them of 6 months imprisonment with hard labor. And on 23rd August 2022, we at Immigration Office in the Northern Region managed to deport the 11 illegal immigrants through Kamuzu International Airport.
The voice of Sergeant Francis Chitambuli, Public Relations Officer for Northern Region Department of Immigration. And with that item, we conclude our newscast this evening. But before we go, a reminder of our top stories. A consortium of civil society organizations, National Advocacy Platform, has called on the Tonse-led government to institute constitutional reforms and review all corruption cases to the general public. The chairperson for Parliamentary Committee on Budget and Finance, Gladys Ganda, has called on members of parliament to leave politics aside for the country to make a good progress in development. And yesterday, the High Court in Longwe overturned a decision by government to remove Chogani Muhango as a board member of ESCOM. You have been with me, Mhone. Good evening.